All right, today's lesson for Algebra B is going to be over 10.1. So you're going to need notebook paper. This is 10.1 notes. And it's going to be on polynomials. This lesson is not really going to be new to you. It is something you have learned in the past. Okay. We're going to start with an example here. So if we go 4x y squared plus, sorry, I'm not used to using this program, so be patient, 3x minus 5, okay? We're gonna just talk about the breakdown of the different parts. So here, these three different parts, these are called terms, okay? And then these numbers right here, these are called coefficients. So in your homework for lesson 10.1, you're going to be asked to state what are the coefficients and what are the terms individually. Let's go over an example of this. So here's an example. If we go 3x squared minus 6x plus 2, okay, in your homework, it asks you to list the terms. It does give you an example, and it asks you to list the coefficients. Okay, so let's go to the terms first. So in this, there are three different terms. Okay, we have these three terms. We're going to list them. So we have 3 so we have 3x squared. We also have, we're not going to be adding, negative 6x. And then put a comma, and then we have a positive 2. So those are our three terms. Now, the coefficients, we have a coefficient in front of the x squared. We have a coefficient of 3. And then in front of the x, we have a coefficient of negative 6. 2 is not a coefficient. 2 would be a constant. Okay, so that's it. All right, next we're going to look at classifying by its terms and what that looks like. Okay, go ahead and move up here. Okay. So we're going to look at three different classifications. We're going to look at monomials, binomials, and trinomials. All right. So monomials, mono means one. So there's one term here. So an example would be x cubes. And anything that has only one term, it could be a number like 4. It could be x. So anything with one term. Binomial, bi means 2. So there are 2 terms. Okay, so an example would be, let's go x squared minus 7. So there are 2 terms there. It could be x plus 7. There's many different ways it could be. Then we have trinomials, which means 3 terms. So an example could be 2x squared minus 4x plus 1. So there are 3 different terms in there, just like the example I gave above. Okay, so when it asks you in your work to classify by its terms, you're going to look to make sure that you have what terms you have, and then just count the number of parts that are being added or subtracted together. Okay, so in your work, welcome to pause this video anytime if I'm moving too fast and you're not getting the notes down. So remember that. Next, we are going to classify by its degree. Okay, now this, I'm gonna let you know, I got off mathisfun.com. So that's where this came from as I work through this chart that I'm gonna give you. So we're gonna have a chart. It's gonna be degree, it's gonna be the name, and then an example. Okay, so we're gonna look at several degrees. So we'll look at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's just what they usually, we only do 0 through 3 for the most part, but since they had it on the chart, I'm gonna go over them. So if you have 0 degrees, it's called a constant. So an example of that would be any number. So let's say 7. If you had something that was to the first degree, it's going to be called linear. And an example of that would be x plus 7. Okay, and then if you had 2, it would be a quadratic. Which it looks like x squared minus x plus 2. 2, x squared, like that. Okay, then if I look at 3, it's going to be cubic. Usually when you get past 2, you can put just the degree with it. So x cubed minus x squared plus 5. And if hopefully you're noticing, it goes by the exponents. There's no exponent on this one here. There's no exponent. On this one here, there's an exponent of 1. So that's where you get the 1 over here. This one, the highest exponent is a 2. So that's where you get the 2 here. Okay, so the highest exponent here is a 3. So that's your cubic. Again, we usually just use, write these both down, up to 3, but quartic would be like 6x to the 4th minus x to the 3rd plus x minus 2. A quintic would be x to the 5th, the highest power is 5, minus 3x to the 3rd plus x squared plus 8. Now you don't have to have the number of terms. So the last one is degree of 5. You don't have to have 5 terms. You're looking at the highest degree that you have here. Okay, that's where these numbers come in here. All right, so let's continue on. Now we're going to write polynomials in standard form. What this means is that you are going to put an order by degree. You're going to put an order by degree. And when we do this, we go the highest first. So let's look at an example. So an example would be 3x squared minus 7 plus 4x cubed plus x to the 6th power. So we have all these terms. Now, in order to write it in standard form here, like they're asking us to do, we're going to look at the exponents. And you're going to start with the highest exponent first. So our answer here is going to be x to the 6th power, because the 6th is the highest, plus 4x to the 3rd power, plus 3x squared minus 7. Watch your signs here. The sign in front goes with it. So this would be your answer if you're putting it in standard form. You're ordering them from highest to greatest according to their exponents. Okay. And then we've got one more section to cover here is the vertical line test. Okay. So in our vertical line test, let's see. I'm going to need a couple of graphs here. So what you're going to do is you're going to see, so if it passes the test, if it passes the vertical line test, then it's a function. Sorry, I'm writing on my computer screen with a stylus, so that's the clicking you keep hearing. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna go, if I have a function that looks like this, and they don't always have to be a U shape, but I'm gonna start with the U shape. I'm gonna start with these two. You're gonna draw vertical lines or use, when I learned this, I used a pencil, and you hold your pencil this way, and as you move your pencil along to left and right, just like you're reading a book, if it only goes through the line in one spot, so like it goes through the line, change colors here, 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 it only goes through one spot, then this passes the test. So the equation here is a function. Okay, so if we look at this example here, the second example, and I start drawing or run my pencil across it like this one, because the first line where my pencil would cross, it would cross here and here. So it crosses in two places. Anytime, no matter if it's just one time, if it crosses in two places, it does not pass. So this one is not a function. So when they're drawn out like this, you just kind of slide your pencil from left to right. If it touches anywhere that it would touch the equation in two spots, makes it not a function. If it only does in one, like the one on the left, then it is a function. So this is what I have for 10.1 notes. You can complete 10.1 skills practice in your packets. and then there will be an assignment tab to upload to Google Classroom.